Good morning, students. My name is Vipin Raj and I am from Kerala and I will be your biology teacher. Today, this is our first biology section. I know that biology may be your one of the most favorite subject, isn't it? Anyway, biology is very simple. It's a very interesting subject. In the lower classes you have studied about what is biology. You know that biology is the study of life. What is biology? Biology is the study of life. Where do you see this life? Biology is the study of life, and where do we find life? Life is found in the earth. Life is found in the earth, in our planet. So in this first section, I would like to introduce you to our first chapter. The name of our first chapter is The Living World. Living World. This is our first chapter. We know biology is the study of life. Our first chapter is the living world. So what is meant by the living world? What is living world? Then this name indicates this is the world of living. Then what is the world of living? Where is the world of living? The world of living is here in this planet. This Earth. Earth is the place where we can see the living things. Does this mean that the earth consists of only the living things? No. The diverse things, the diverse forms that can be seen in this planet, they are divided into two types. One is living. The next one is non-living. The diverse forms, the diverse things in this world is living and non-living. They are divided into living and non-living. The living beings, the living things in this world is known as organisms. The entire living beings in this world, in this planet, is known as organisms. Then, how can we distinguish this living from non-living? Is it possible to distinguish a living thing from a non-living thing? Yes, you're right. It's possible to distinguish a living form from a non-living object. There are some basic characters for living things. Living things show some basic features. So in this section, we are going to learn, we are going to study about some of the basic features of these living beings, living things, or these organisms. Look at this. Now this is an animal and this is a plant. Okay. We know that both of this plant and this animal, both of them are what? They are living. Okay. In case of plants, the growth is unlimited. That means they will grow throughout their lifetime. But in the case of animals, this one, it's a millipede, and in case of animals, the growth is limited. That means it will be up to a certain age. Okay. In case of animals, the growth is limited and it will be up to a certain age. So all organisms, whether it is plant or animal, all organisms, they grow. All organisms grow is a very important character of what? Living things. So all organisms, they can grow. That's an important character of what? Living things. So first character is what? All organisms. All organisms grow. It's an important character of living things. But this character, it's not a definite property of living things. The reason is that there are some non-living objects. Now, for example, mountain or sand dunes. These are non-living objects. But it can also grow. It can increase their size. How do it increase their size? It is due to the accumulation of some materials on their surface. Okay. That is due to the accumulation of some materials on their surface. They will increase in their size. And this type of growth is outside. This here, the growth comes from outside. That is deposition of some materials on their surface. But in the case of living things, in organisms, the growth is inside. The growth comes from inside the body of the organism. So now we understand that all organisms grow. It's a character of living things. The next character that we are going to discuss is reproduction. Organisms have the ability to produce their young ones. They produce new individuals similar to them. It's a character of what? Living things. And like the first character that we have discussed, this character is also not a definite property of living organisms. The reason is that there are some organisms, for example mules, sterile worker bees, and infertile human couples. So these type of organisms, they cannot reproduce. They cannot reproduce. So this character, that is reproduction, cannot be a definite property of living organism. Even though it's a character of what? Living organism. It's only the living organism who can reproduce. No other type of objects can. The next character that we are going to discuss is metabolism. All organisms' body, the body of all organism is made up of various chemicals. We call these chemicals as the biomolecules. So there are different types of reactions that is performed by these biomolecules. These biomolecules are involved in various type of chemical reactions that is occurring in our body. The sum total of all these chemical reactions, the sum total of all these various types of chemical reactions that occurring in our body is known as metabolism. Okay, so all organisms perform this task, that is what? Metabolism. There are various type of metabolic reactions that is occurring in the body of all organisms. A metabolic reaction that is outside the body of an organism. A metabolic reaction that is outside the body of an organism. It cannot be considered as living. It is neither living nor non-living. Hence, this property, that is metabolism, the property of metabolism is a defining character of what? Life. The property of metabolism is a definite character of living things. Okay. We have discussed the three characters. All organisms grow, reproduction and metabolism. The next one is cellular organization. The body of all organisms are made up of one or more cells, and these cells have a basic structure and a similar function also. And we can say that the organization of that means the cellular organization of the body is a defined property of all organisms. That means it is shown by all organisms. The basic unit of life is cell. The cellular organization of body is a defined property of living organisms. Now we are going to the last property, that is consciousness. What is meant by consciousness? It is the ability of living things to respond to the environment. The ability of the living things to respond, to sense their environment is known as what? Consciousness. All organisms, whether it is plant or animal, they show what? This consciousness. Hence, it is a defined character, a defined property of what? Living organisms. Now, this is the time for concluding our section. So far, we have discussed the basic characteristics of living organisms. Okay. Now, I'm just going to conclude this section. So we have discussed the basic characters. The basic characteristics of what? Living organisms. So first we have discussed what? All organisms grow. All organisms have the ability to grow. Second one was what? It's nothing but the reproduction is a basic character of living organisms. The third one, that is the metabolism. All living organisms show metabolic reactions. So it is a definite property of what? Living organism. The next one is cellular organization. The body of all organisms is made up of cells. The last one is what? Consciousness. All the animals have the ability to sense their environment, whether it is plant or animal. So these are the 5 basic characteristics of what? Living organisms. So in the next section we will continue this. Okay. I think all of you understood this, what the characteristics of all these living organisms, the 5 basic characteristics. You may just go through your textbook, okay, and then if you have any kind of doubt, you can ask me, okay, and okay, anyway, this is the time to say goodbye, okay, and I thank all of you.